they make you get a public defender, or when you hire a lawyer, you're telling the court that you are an imbecile and you cannot speak for yourself. So I was walking out of there, and I told the prosecutor, I said, look, I just made a wish. I just gave her an order to release me. She violated me. She's in dishonor. She should be removed. And she basically fled the courtroom because I put her in dishonor, and she knew it. And I told the prosecutor right then and there, and I wrote all of this down in my statement, and I think I emailed it to you. I think I sent you all of this.
Yeah, you did. Yes.
Okay. So I told the prosecutor, I said, let me tell you something. She's working for the state, right? You're working for the state, right? The state's prosecuting me. She's working for the state. How can I get a fair trial if she's working for this very entity that is prosecuting me? And the prosecutor said, I sometimes wonder the same thing myself. And then he left. And so so they ordered me to have a public defender, and he came in, and he was a narcissist. He even told me when we were doing the interview that he thinks everybody should be in jail and that we're all just a bunch of cattle, and that he's a Marxist. He said, I'm a Marxist, and I think the more people in jail, the better. He was just this cold snake. Anyway.
Yeah, wow.
So,
that's scary right there, big time, right there. I mean, you know what really gets me, if you do need a lawyer, right, and you don't have money to pay for one, you're not going to win. There's no way. You're not going to get off of the offense. My one son, I'll go into this a little bit because it really frustrates me. My son does have a drinking problem, but he was on medication that the doctor gave him because he has a tendency of he can't be around people. He gets really nervous and stuff like that. He wasn't drinking at the time. He took what the doctor gave him, the dosage he's supposed to take. Okay, he got pulled over because one of his taillights was out on his car. Well, he kind of a little bit slow talking because he just took his medication. Okay, and on the bottle it says you shouldn't drive when you take the medication. It doesn't say you can't legally drive your car when you're on this medication. It says you shouldn't drive or operate machinery. Okay, so next thing I get a phone call. He was arrested. Well, they let him out. Now this is a local city up here in Washington. So he goes to court. He doesn't. I wasn't in a position to help him out financially because I was helping out a lot of my kids, 8 of them, and I just didn't have the extra money at that moment to help him. He gets a public defender, and basically didn't really care, so they continued the case. Now we live 90 some miles away. That each time he has to go to court, we have to drive 90 miles. Well, it goes through a couple of the city judges, and finally one judge says, hey, there's no evidence here that he did anything wrong. I'm going to dismiss it. Well, evidently, they go through judges like every week or every 2 weeks, there's a new judge. These judge, lawyer pro tems or whatever you call them. So he goes to court the next time figuring, here's my court hearing, right? And the other judge says that they were going to dismiss it. Well, this other judge, he gets a new public defender, by the way, knows nothing about what's been happening, didn't even bother looking at anything, in the folder there. And the next judge says, well, you have to, we're going to put you on probation for a year. You're going to have to you're going to have to come to your probation officer, in that town twice a month. Now,
even after the other judge had dismissed it.
He was going to dismiss it. Yeah. He set up a hearing to dismiss it. Well, I don't know. The new judge didn't bother reading the records over, so it didn't get dismissed. And the whole point is, I told him, don't go back to court because they're going to lock you up for a while. Well, it turned out they never filed any warrant for his arrest after all. But the whole point is, how many people can actually afford to go 90 miles each direction to go see twice a month and hold a job down? It can't happen.
No, it can't. And, let me tell you something about that. When he was in court, was there a stenographer in there taking notes?
Absolutely was
putting everything on the record?
No, they recorded it.
Okay. That's the thing. They recorded it?
Yeah, it was recorded.
On what, audio?
On a recorder, I imagine, of some sort.
So you saw them recording it?
Well, yeah, they did say that everything was being recorded. They did say that.
See, I think that's a lie, because when I went to court, finally, and when I made my second appearance, they gave me 1 year probation for obstruction because I wouldn't give them my name, and 1 year probation for trespassing. So I called the probation office and I told them that the judge said I had no probation. Because here's the thing, there was no stenographer, nothing was said on the record, and they expect you to just accept whatever they say and show up. And I told them, no, I have no probation, that's what the judge said. And they had to take my word for it. And so they gave me a letter saying I had no probation, and that was it. I never served 1 day of probation, period. Not one.
Well, that or
because I told them on the phone.
Or that, or they were too lazy, didn't want to spend the money to have to go back and pull the files out for the day and have somebody sit and listen to it all.
That might be possible too. Yeah, not to mention that when they wanted me to pay my fine, I tendered them like $200, and it was $100 for each offense. I sent them a $200 promissory note, and they were refusing to accept it. I put them into dishonor. Yeah.
Okay.
It was funny.
Yeah. So what did you ever have to give them real money or a real check, or what happened?
I wound up giving them real money because my wife said, listen, you're making this harder on yourself than it needs to be. And I said, the only reason I'm going to pay them money to handle this situation is because I'm married to you and I don't want you to worry. Because I'll go to jail. I don't care. I'll sit in jail and make a point of it. I got no problem with that. I said, fine, I'll do whatever you want because I'll honor you as my wife, and I'll accept your offer to just pay the money. So I did. I mean, because I gave up caring about my personal comfort a long time ago. I'm not in this life for comfort. I'm not in this for riches and fame. I'm in this because I feel like I'm here for the purpose of ending poverty and freeing every living soul from the jurisdiction of the state. That is all I care about. And if I have to be the example to do it, then I'm fine with that. I don't care. I really don't. I'm not in this for comfort. I'm in this for a purpose.
Now, that reminds me, okay, you called the White House, and I'm sure you had to explain why you wanted to talk to the president. What did they say to you?
Yeah.
I mean, did you have
I called their main number. They were like, if you want to call the White House, you call. And so I called, and if they say, if you have a message for the president, push this button. So I pushed it, and Agent 13 answered. That was all she would tell me. She was Agent 13, and I told her, listen, I have come up with the solution to end poverty. It's an actionable solution. It will actually benefit the Federal Reserve. I think if Donald Trump really wants to help the world, I just want to be able to give him a 10-minute presentation or at least submit the information. And she would say, well, I'll give him I'll pass the comments along. I said, yeah, but you need to tell him my name. She's like, sir, we are not allowed. Look, sir, I like my job here, and we are not allowed to do it. We're not allowed to give him your name. I said, well, you're going to tell him that I called about having the solution to end poverty, right? I mean, don't you think that's a big deal? And she goes, sir, thousands of people call here every day, sir. I go, listen, my name is Ronald Farnham. Don't call me sir anymore. She goes, sir, I like my job here. I don't need you telling me how to run my job. I told you I have I was like, look, lady, what is your name? I am Agent 13, sir. I go, I'm not sir. My name is Ronald Farnham. I want you to tell him my name. I want to give you my phone number. I want to pass along this, that I have a legitimate, actionable solution to end poverty, and I want to get it to Donald Trump. He seems like the kind of guy who's trying to help people out. He's ending this whole joblessness thing. He's trying to save us on taxes. Let me get him this information. Sir, have a good day. And she hung up. I will pass his information along to you. Goodbye. Boom. But she said she wasn't going to give my name. So I also went on their website, and they have a form that you can fill out. And I filled out the form, put my name and address and exactly what I want to talk to them about. But I just want to give them a 5-10-minute briefing. I can explain it in 5 minutes. No problem. What this legitimate solution is. In fact, he just met with Pam Bondi. It would be very interesting. It's like, look, I talked to Pam Bondi. You just met with her when you came to Tampa yesterday, or what was it today? I think it was yesterday. He was over at MacDill Air Force Base. So maybe they'll get back to me. What I'm going to do is every day, I think, I'm going to.
Yeah,
I
they
wrote a
might
letter
get back.
too, and I mailed it in.
They might get back to you, but it might be two guys in a suit coming back and getting back to you. Have you thought about that?
Yeah, I thought about that, and you know what? Whatever happens, happens. I don't care. I'm going for it. That's why I'm doing as many radio interviews, and I'm putting out as many books and movies as I can, as fast as I can, so that at least there's a trail, there's a record of the information and the solution. And now you got 90,000 or 100,000 people listening, and they can say, okay, well, let's do it. Email me. I'll send you the promissory notes. I don't care. I just want to get it out there before it's too late, because if they do drag me away, then my information goes away with me. If one day it's like, geez, I haven't heard from that Ronald Farnham guy in a while. He was doing interviews, and nobody even knows what happened to him. Yeah, they dragged him off, and they probably shot him and put him in a ditch, and that's it. So I'm getting out all the information I can as quickly as I can, because everybody needs to know this. I mean, this is not a joke. You know, this whole national anthem thing and this American flag thing. The American flag is actually the corporate logo for the United States of America Corporation, and the national anthem is their theme song. But yet you've got Donald Trump standing out there saying, everybody's got to stand for this. You know, we're going to stand, and we're going to salute, and we're going to have the national anthem, and it's just another big psychological operations program. It's a fraud. They're just brainwashing people to think that it's good to be an American. And there's no such thing as an American. That's the thing. An American is actually a citizen or an employee of the United States of America Corporation, a taxpayer. That's what American is. An American's a slave. What you really are is a living soul, and your title to your vessel has been stolen by a corporation that's posing as a government. So I don't care who shows up at my door. As long as somebody answers me and I get a chance to say my piece, I hope to be able to get something out to Donald Trump. He seems like the kind of guy who will listen. Does he really want to do good? You know, I really listen to his speeches, and I listen for the rhetoric in them, and it's there. His speechwriters are writing his speeches, and he delivers his speech very well. I mean, he's a very charismatic guy. He's more charismatic than Barack Obama. You know, I mean, the guy speaks well, you know, and so did Bill Clinton. So did George Bush. Those guys were entertaining speakers. They could put it out there. They could move an audience. But their agenda is to further citizens down into the rabbit hole and impose more controls upon them. And they've been building it one little bit at a time, just like what George Bush Sr. was like, 1,000 points of light. It's all about turning us all into their little slaves. And it's getting worse and worse. Now they're trying to take our guns away. They're giving more people reason. I mean, poverty. I mean, as many people as he's saying that have jobs, well, it's still not enough to keep us out of the poverty level. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, and it's not right. And I think that Donald Trump is just another puppet for the corporation. And well, it might sound like on TV with all those applauses and cheering that he's doing a great job, but he's just taxing more people. He's just silently taking away more of our rights.
Well, yeah.
Well, I mean, they can take your children away from you because they have title to their vessel.
Yeah, but don't forget, you know, he really did give tax breaks to the rich people. In fact, they are enacting it right now in Congress and Senate. So, you know, to make sure it's permanent. So, I mean, not just temporarily. So, I mean, that's going on right now. Hey, our time is almost. Yeah, they're going to get a permanent tax break, not a temporary one, a permanent. And you know what? We got a kind of a tax break, right? Where everybody's getting more money because they're taking less taxes out. Yeah, next year they're going to end up paying, and it's going to cost everybody more money because these poor people that can't afford to pay their taxes back, they're going to go to one of these JIPO loan companies, right?
Yeah.
And they're going to go take a loan out at 30-some% or whatever the highest rate they can get away in their state with. And they're going to get paid. They're going to take out a $2,000 or $3,000 or $5,000 loan. That time they pay it off, it's like $9,000 or $10,000 just to pay the government off because the government gave them a little bit extra money this year. Okay. Yeah. Well,
it's a big bait and switch.
Well, it makes me sick when I think about that. Anyway, you're going to be back on the 27th for 3 hours on the show. Now. Some of the jobs you did, didn't you work for involved with the government for a while?
I did. I held a top secret clearance for 15 years. I started out in Army intelligence. I was